Hey guys, it's Adam Levitan, and today I am going to be talking about using the FantasyLabs tools to multi-enter golf GPPs. And I want to say that I am not a fan of mass multi-entering or multi-entering in big numbers in other sports such as football and basketball. In fact, I encourage our opponents to do so. I know there's a lot of controversy out there in the DFS world about mass multi-entering. I mean, my whole take on the thing is the vast majority of people who do it fail, have a losing expectation, lose money doing it. So they're just in there bloating these prize pools, in which we have $1 million to first on a $20 buy-in or 100K to first on a $3 buy-in, or just totally insane stuff. And the reason we have that is because people are mass multi-entering and it's not that they don't know what they're doing, but they don't know what they're doing well enough to win. So I think 99 or 98% of the people that mass multi-enter in those other sports are setting themselves up for failure. So I encourage them to keep doing so. The difference with golf and why I think it makes sense to multi-enter tournaments in golf is mainly because the players don't impact each other. You don't have situations like in the NBA where, oh man, it's 6:50 and we have a late scratch and we already made 100 lineups. We're in big trouble. We need to change all these. We don't have a situation where if X player goes off, Y player can't go off. Every golfer is completely independent of the other golfer. And I think that makes a huge difference when we're multi-entering. Again, players don't have any impact on each other, so we can just make all these different combinations using our models and try to get there with one of the combinations. So the second point with multi-entering golf is everyone has the same opportunity. A lot of football and basketball is projecting how many touches a guy will get, how many targets he'll get, what pace the game will be played at. If X guy is hurt, who do we need to have in our lineups? And all that stuff, there's feel with all that. You have to be following news very closely. In golf, everyone tees it up. Everyone has the same opportunity. Everyone has a chance to play 72 holes that week. So then it really just comes down to the data. And at FantasyLabs, I obviously think we have the best data, and the golf models are pretty sick, as I think I showed in the first video I did on golf a couple weeks ago. And the third thing about why I think golf is okay or is profitable or can be profitable to mass multi-enter is because it's okay to leave money on the table. I'm not too keen on leaving more than $500 or $400 of your DraftKings salary for football, and even less comfortable doing it for basketball, where the pricing is set so that it's a reflection of the opportunity. It's a reflection of the minutes. In golf, again, everybody has the same opportunity. I'm okay leaving $1,500, $1,700 on the table in my golf lineups. And I think that can give us unique lineups and get us on some cheaper guys too. So I'm just going to run quickly through how I like to generate multiple lineups for golf. So I'm going to go to PGA. I am going to go to the models. This is Colin's base model. I am going to open up a model this is not my final model for Colonial, but this was just something that I'm working with for this week, the Dean and DeLuca Invitational at Colonial. This is just one that I'm working with right now. So you can see here are my ratings. Here are my players. Obviously, I always weight a long-term adjusted round score no matter what the tournament is very heavily. And I talked about why in the first golf video I did a couple weeks ago. But, boiling down that number, trying to figure out if a guy plays an easy course, another guy plays a hard course, and another guy played the course when it was windy, and another guy played that same course when the conditions were perfect. How do we boil that down to one number? And that's adjusted round score. I think that's the most important. And then I started getting into the course fit things. Obviously, I think greens and regulation are very important this week. Driving distance, not as important. I always weight long-term birdie score at least a little bit because of what I talked about in the previous video. How important it is to, let me just X these exposures out real quick. How important it is to have birdies factored in DraftKings because of the way DraftKings scoring is set up. So I always weight long-term birdie score a little bit, and then I have a couple other weights down here to fill out my 100. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to lineups. I'm going to click generate multiple lineups, and I'm going to do, let's say, 100. And as I mentioned, I'm comfortable only filling 96% of my cap as a minimum. Oh, one thing I did want to show before I do it, there's certain guys that each week I choose to fade. So some guys I think are going to be overly owned. So like this week, I think Colton Nost, given how well he's played lately, given that he was 20-something% owned just last week, I think fading him and his price has gone up all the way to 8,300. I think fading him, given his poor course history here, makes some sense. So if you just want to exclude him from all your lineups, just click the X there. He's gone. So you can do that for other guys. I think sometimes, guys at the top like Spieth and fading Spieth has been profitable lately. When a guy costs 12,800 and even if he finishes 10th or 15th, you're likely coming away with a profit. But anyways, back to generate multiple lineups, 196. And I'll just click generate lineups here. And it's going to think for a minute, and it's going to spit out the lineups that are going to win me all of the money this week. So here we go. So here are my 100 lineups. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is these screens over here. This is all of the lineups. Now, if this was football, I would go through, or if this was basketball, I would go through and say, man, I really don't feel comfortable with that lineup. That lineup doesn't make sense to me. This lineup has Frank Gore, and I never roster Frank Gore. This lineup has Gronk, and I, am hesitant to pay up for Gronk in this spot or whatever. And that's just because, I follow football so closely, and I think that there's an edge to me doing that. With golf, I don't think that there's an edge for me to go through because A, I don't know enough, and B, I trust the models, and C, I want to be on really low owned guys in golf. Like, doing this in the past, over the past 6 weeks, 2 months or so, I've gotten golfers, at 0.5% or 1% that have turned out really well. And obviously that's a huge, huge advantage. But if you do want to go through and get rid of some lineups, if you just click that check mark there, your lineup won't be part of your package. But I leave all the lineups in. Now, the more important window here is where it says exposure. So out of my 100, I have 55 William McGirt lineups. I have 46 Furyk, 39 Kuchar. I like to go through here and adjust slightly for guys that I want to be higher on. So, like, I think Bryce Mulder coming in really hot is a pretty good play again this week. So I'm going to raise my desired exposure from 9 to 20. And obviously, Zach Johnson, I think he'll be very chalky this week, but let's say I wanted to raise him to 20 also. Let's say Ryan Palmer, I want to bring him down to 12. So then I hit save here, and it saves. I'll clear these lineups out, and then I'll regenerate the lineups 196%, and this time I will do it with my desired exposures. So it's thinking about getting me all the money and what we're going to spend it on. So now you see over here, actual exposure for Mulder is now 21. My desired was 20. Zach Johnson got it right to the number, 20 and 20. Ryan Palmer brought it down to 16. Desired was 12. So that was the best that the system could do. So you have all your exposures here. You can adjust them as you so wish. So now I think that we have 100 lineups, different combinations, have our core here of guys that are 25% plus. You can go with a smaller core if you want more variance, or if you feel stronger about a group of guys. You can always do different things when you're generating multiple lineups and based on exactly what you want to do. But this is kind of the simplest way to do it. And then you hit save lineups. That will save your lineups to the FantasyLabs My Lineups page. And then once you get to the FantasyLabs My Lineups page, you can go directly to uploading them on DraftKings. So this is taking some time. I'm not sure why. There we go. Your lineups have been saved to the My Lineups page. Click on that. And this is a cool page because it stays up throughout the whole golf tournament. So I'll come here on Thursday or Friday and be like, Will Wilcox is 8 under. How much Will Wilcox do I have? And then it'll show me that I have 12. So when you're ready to put these lineups onto DraftKings, you just click export, downloads for you into your download file, go to DraftKings, go to your My Lineups page on DraftKings, and you'll be able to upload all those lineups there to put into whatever contest you want. So that's just a little bit about mass multi-entering in golf and why I think it makes sense and how to do it. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, ajl201@yahoo.com. For Jerry, I am Adam. Good luck, everybody.